Om Namo Narayanaya. We are finishing the chapter today called Of Gains and Losses, Attendant Gains and Losses, and Doubts, as also of the different kinds of courtesans. And this will conclude the section in the Kama Sutra on courtesans. I'd like to say thank God, figuratively speaking, because it has been quite a slog for me. It's been very tough. Udelika has described the gains and losses on both sides as follows. If when living with a lover, a courtesan gets both wealth and pleasure from him, it is called a gain on both sides. When a courtesan lives with a lover at her own expense without getting any profit out of it, and the lover even takes back from her what he may have formerly given her, it is called a loss on both sides. When a courtesan is uncertain whether a new acquaintance would become attached to her, and moreover, if he became attached to her, whether he would give her anything, it is then called a doubt on both sides about gains. When a courtesan is uncertain whether a former enemy, if made up by her at her own expense, would do her some injury on account of his grudge against her, or, if becoming attached to her, would take away angrily from her anything that he may have given to her, this is called a doubt on both sides about loss. Bavaria has described the gains and losses on both sides as follows. When a courtesan can get money from a man whom she may go to see, and also money from a man whom she may not go to see, this is called a gain on both sides. When a courtesan has to incur further expense if she goes to see a man, and yet runs the risk of incurring an irremediable loss if she does not go to see him, this is called a loss on both sides. When a courtesan is uncertain whether a particular man would give her anything on her going to see him, without incurring expense on her part, or whether, on her neglecting him, another man would give her something, this is called a doubt on both sides about gain. When a courtesan is uncertain whether, on going at her own expense to see an old enemy, he would take back from her what he may have given her, or whether by her not going to see him he would cause some disaster to fall upon her, this is called a doubt on both sides about loss. By combining the above, the following 6 kinds of mixed results are produced. Gain on one side and loss on the other. Gain on one side and doubt of gain on the other. Gain on one side and doubt of loss on the other. Loss on one side and doubt of gain on the other. Doubt of gain on one side and doubt of loss on the other. Doubt of loss on one side and loss on the other. A courtesan, having considered all the above things and taking counsel with her friends, should act so as to acquire gain, the chances of great gain, and the warding off of any great disaster. Religious merit and pleasure should also be formed into separate combinations like those of wealth, and then should all be combined with each other so as to form new combinations. When a courtesan consorts with men, she should cause each of them to give her money as well as pleasure. At particular times, such as spring festivals, etc., she should make her mother announce to the various men that on a certain day her daughter would remain with the man who would gratify such and such desire of hers. When young men approach her with delight, she should think of what she may accomplish through them. The combination of gains and losses on all sides are gain on one side and loss on the others, loss on one side and gain on all others, gain on all sides, loss on all sides. A courtesan should also consider doubts about gain and doubts about loss with reference both to wealth, religious merit, and pleasure. Thus ends consideration of gain, loss, attendant gains, attendant losses, and doubts. The different kinds of courtesans are a female attendant, an unchaste woman, a dancing girl, a female artisan, a woman who has left her family, a woman living on her beauty, and finally, a regular courtesan. All of the above kinds of courtesans are acquainted with various kinds of men, and should consider the ways of getting money from them, of pleasing them, of separating themselves from them, and of reuniting with them. They should also take into consideration particular gains and losses, attendant gains and losses, and doubts in accordance with their several conditions. Thus ends the considerations of courtesans. There are also 2 verses on the subject as follows. Men want pleasure, while women want money, and therefore this part, which treats of the means of gaining wealth, should be studied. There are some women who seek for love, and others who seek for money. For the former, the ways of love are told in previous portions of this work, while the ways of getting money, as practiced by courtesans, are described in this part. Thus ends this chapter. But did you notice this one line, a courtesan is a female artisan? I don't know, maybe not all female artisans are courtesans, but wow, didn't see that one coming.